You want it to be one way.
What?
You want it to be one way.
Man, I don't
You
know
want it
what
to be
you...
one
Man,
way.
stop. Stop saying that.
But it's the other way.
So, Jaron Boots Ennis is not on PBC. I mean, we really don't know where Jaron Boots Ennis has been, but a lot of people did assume he'd be on PBC. But what's the bigger story here? The biggest story here is when you see Subriel Matias leaving PBC, you hear rumors of Canelo Alvarez negotiating fights with Jaime Munguia, who's a Golden Boy fighter. And he's also requesting PBC to go ahead and put his $30+ million guarantee in an escrow account before he's willing to sign any contract for a fight under the PBC. You know, at this point in the game, how is the PBC and Amazon Prime deal structured? I think that's a fair question. It's a lot to unpack, but you know how we do it. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Let's go. Yup. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Welcome one, welcome all. Salute all my subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. The support's been great. You know, ups and downs and all that. I appreciate you sticking around and having faith in the movement and choosing to be a part of this community. If this is your first time tapping into this channel, I do encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon as well, so you are getting all the alerts when this content drops. So, Jaron Boots Ennis, not with the PBC? Interesting. You know, throughout this whole entire situation with the PBC merging with Amazon Prime and this new deal coming out, and Showtime fighters that used to be signed with Steven Espinoza and Showtime, supposedly, naturally people are believing, or, you know, naturally one would assume that these fighters are going over with PBC, being, you know, the great year they had last year as far as putting on fights. There's a lot of gray areas and a lot of things that aren't being, either they're not being discussed or not acknowledged. A lack of understanding of exactly how this whole entire deal with Amazon Prime is actually being structured. Now, we don't want to speak prematurely, and we want everything to work out great for everybody. But activity. This is a necessary element in a fighter's career. You know, fighting once, twice a year. This is something that's I believe is hurting the boxing community today. You don't see these fighters fighting enough. People can complain as much as they want to complain about it, but also outside of complaining about it, what really is the underlying issue here? What is stopping these fighters and these fights from being coordinated? Well, we're in America, and I'm sure just like any other country, like a superpower country like England or, you know, whatever have you, anywhere in the world, when you're trying to put together something like this, usually money's the root of all evil. At the end of the day, it's either not enough or you're not offering enough. You guys choose whichever one you want to go with. I'd say this though. As of late, it seems as if there are things that just aren't adding up. The math isn't mathing. Something in the soup isn't souping. We're talking about PBC's first card is going to be at the end of March. This is the last day of the first quarter. They're going to have their first event, and headlining that event is going to be Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman fighting a catchweight fight, no title on the line as a headliner, and the co-headliner being Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz. Now, honestly, when you look at the complete card, it's not such a horrible card, but one has to be honest with themselves and say, man, charging a fan $80 to see Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman fight for a catchweight fight with no title on the line, and charged the fan $80. Now, earlier today, I saw a little interview with, I believe it was with Ness over there at Boxing Voice, with Keith Thurman, where Keith Thurman just in a regular interview, let it be known and understood that this was a last-minute arrangement made for him to fight Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu also acknowledging that he also was made aware of this fight with Keith Thurman in a short period of time. It wasn't planned. One would say when you hear them talking about it that something went wrong. What's going wrong? Why change your headliner? It would look like you're changing your headliner, 2 months before the fight's supposed to happen. Keeping in mind, of course, that there's been suggestions that the headliner for the first card of the year was going to be, we heard Gervonta Tank Davis was going to be headlining at one point. We heard rumors of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford being rumored at some point. There was even rumors going around about Tim Tszyu fighting Terrence Crawford, going around. But, rumors are rumors. We don't put weight on rumors so much. But I'll tell you one rumor that it definitely was not out there was Tim Tszyu fighting Keith Thurman in a catchweight fight. And what's stopping this from getting put together? I asked some questions to people in the game. I won't even put their names out there, but just understanding that I don't want to put any names out there, but I'm just gonna say that a fighter that everybody loves and is really wanting to see fight, somebody on their team made me aware that they were waiting on. Pretty much they were waiting on to see how this event goes on March 30th to decide how they're going to approach. They want to see how the production is going to get put together. They want to see how smooth the event goes by before they make up their mind on how they're going to approach their decision making on as far as matchmaking is concerned. I mean, that would lead me to believe that there's just certain details that aren't being ironed out, that haven't been ironed out yet. Things just aren't that clear for PBC fighters right now. You look at Subriel Matias just left and he went to Matchroom. There's rumors of Canelo Alvarez entertaining fighting Jaime Munguia for Cinco de Mayo. Jaime Munguia is a golden boy fighter. You would think that PBC would want to keep their fighters in-house, would want, to put Canelo against a Jamal Charlo or David Benavidez, but or even a Terrence Crawford, even though I'm hearing Terrence Crawford is not even a PBC fighter right now. But just watching how things are moving, not getting any type of heads up on the plans of PBC as far as what the cards are going to be, when they're going to be, who's going to be on them. I don't know if people think that that's normal, but I find that a not normal thing going on right now. But yet and still, people will turn their noses up at, for example, what Saudi's doing, or the moves that Saudi's doing with Matchroom and DAZN and Queensberry with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and those guys. We have to ask those questions, and I want to know at this point. I've waited patiently. We're going into the third month of the year. We're going into March, and how is the Amazon Prime and PBC deal structured? How are they paying these fighters? Are they able to pay these fighters? Rumors going around that Canelo Alvarez wants his guaranteed money up front in an escrow account. There's even rumors of Gervonta Tank Davis wanting his money, his guaranteed money up front as well, and there might be some issues there as far as making that happen. Is the PBC able to put together these fights? And what are these fighters doing in the meantime? Boots Ennis right now, Steven Espinoza put out a tweet saying that he's not a PBC fighter and that he's had over 3 fights in the past 6 months cancel or postpone on him. Why? I won't say it's the money because he's not with PBC, but when you see how the trajectory of Boots Ennis' career has been going for the past, I think his last fight was last July. You know, he got an IBF championship that he got in a way that he doesn't like. He didn't get to fight for it. Fighters seem to be scared to fight him in his division. He has to be active. I think that's a very important thing. One might consider or take into consideration that maybe he might think of moving up to 154. I think Boots Ennis versus Tim Tszyu would have been a way more pay-per-view worthy headliner of a card than Keith Thurman. But you have to ask, why aren't these things able to, why are these things so taboo to talk about? I don't know. I don't want to stay long on it and make it a big deal, but I did want to address the situation as far as we're not blind. We can see. We're not blind. We can see. There are questions out there. There are concerns out there. You have some content creators that are very pro one promotion company over another. So, they'll push it and they'll push the idea that everything is going well. But the reality is nobody knows what's going on. We have to see what's put in front of us and use our critical thinking skills to assess it properly to get the best idea we can of what's going on. At one moment you can say that Al Heyman's a great promoter, that he has a history of making great deals for his fighters, and you want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he has this all under control. That's fair. But on the other side of that coin, it's also fair to question and have concerns about how are we going to see the fighters we want to see fight. How is PBC plan on putting their first event on? And it seems like all the events are going to be pay-per-view. I hope they're not, but I think this card coming up should have been free in some sort. Amazon put it free some way. I don't think it's worth $80 either. So if you are going to make it a pay-per-view, I don't think that this card is worth more than $30 from my point of view. And really, I think it should be free, but just my opinion about it. But at the same time, how are they going to get over 200 fighters to fight this year? Subriel Matias clearly just, I'll go to Matchroom. I need to be busy. He understands. A good fighter knows how important it is to be busy. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. We'll be following up on this, obviously. I'll continue to let you guys know what I find out as it comes out. But, I think it's fair at this point. It's fair at this point to ask, how's that deal structured? How are you guys going to get these fighters paid? How are you guys going to put these fighters on? Why is Canelo Alvarez asking, or why are there rumors of Canelo Alvarez being in negotiations with Jaime Munguia? That makes no sense to me. Boots Ennis is also not active. That makes no sense to me. Why would he want that to happen? Clearly he's not with PBC, according to Steven Espinoza, who's made it abundantly clear that he's not with PBC. So we can stop with that. We can start with, where is he now? Instead of assuming that he's at PBC, we can take that off the table and get back to, where's Boots Ennis fighting now? And what does Boots Ennis need to do to become active? Sitting out, waiting on what? What is David Benavidez going to do? He's clearly not going to get the fight with Canelo Alvarez at this point. Should he stay at super middleweight and maybe fight a David Morrell? Or maybe, I don't know, go up to light heavyweight? I don't know. It's a lot to unpack, right? We won't get it all done here. But I definitely wanted to put this video out and just put the feelers out there. If somebody wants to, share with me, how is the PBC Amazon Prime deal structured? How does that work? And you might want to let the fighters know too, because they don't seem to know how it works either. Anyway, at that point, it's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. And at this point, we out.
Man, what's wrong with Rollies? Is something wrong with Rollies?
Yeah.
Right? I love the kid. He's like funny as hell. But I think there's something off with him. No, because he's making less money fighting with no guarantee. And I wish that platform all the best, but when you're gonna have Keith Thurman versus who?
Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu. No disrespect, because I love Tim Tszyu.
They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go